Okay, thank you very much, Pak Dedi. First of all, I would like to thank our invited speakers, Prof. Stephen J. Hall from Sunway University in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Second is Pak Gumawang Jati from ITB, Bandung, and Prof. Sukri Langputeh, yeah, from Fatoni University. And hopefully in the future, we also have a memorandum of understanding, yeah, with Sunway University if Prof. Stephen Hall is still in the Zoom. Yeah, and we can do collaboration, yeah, in research and publication in the future because our study program needs that program, yeah, together. What I'm going to share is not about ICT or about online learning. I'm going to share one of my research, which I have just finished, and that is about how to attract, yeah, readers, uh, including journal articles, editors, yeah, to our, this is my PowerPoint. Oh, what's wrong? Can you see my PowerPoint yet?
Not yet, but I think it is working.
Still working. What about now?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Okay. So it's time, yeah, for Zuhur. Yeah. Okay. This is the title: Research Gap Strategies and Linguistic Realization in Introductions. A comparative study on research article in language-related field published in reputable international journals of different ranks. Yeah, so this is very different from what have been presented by the three professors before. I think we learned a lot, yeah, from Prof. Stephen, Prof. Gumawang Jati, and Prof. Sukri. And we talk about something else now. This is more relevant for the students, yeah, because the students must do research and publish the result. And we really hope that, yeah, the students can publish the thesis, yeah, in a higher quality journals, yeah, hopefully in international journals. And this is one requirement, yeah, to be accepted, yeah, in an international journals. Yeah, this is the main question. Why do we do research? Yeah, we don't do research because we have problems in teaching. Yeah, not only that. Yeah, we don't do research because we are interested in doing it, or we like it, or we have to do it. Yeah, no, yeah, we don't do research for those reasons. Yeah, we do research after we know how why we do research after reading, yeah, other people's research. So we have to read first. We cannot decide at the beginning, yeah, before reading other people's study, we cannot decide why do I do this study. We have to read it first. Yeah. So in writing, we cannot write before we read. So one of the element in the introduction of the article is called research gap. So research gap is the lack of knowledge or lack of information, lack of data left by previous studies. And we have to find this. Yeah, it doesn't come automatically to us. Yeah, we cannot think of this. We have to read. Yeah, and therefore we have to do the literature review. So we cannot study without reading literature. Yeah, we have to do that. So here, yeah, creating a research gap, so this from Swales, becomes a very important rhetorical work, a very important element in the introduction. Without this, and then our research is not justifiable. Maybe it is not important. Maybe it has been done by other people so many times, and we don't know. Yeah? So we have to do this. A research article manuscript submitted to reputable journals may be rejected. So if you submit a draft to a journal without stressing, without stating the research gap, it will be rejected. Yeah, because no theoretical, practical reason to do the research. Yeah. Authors need to indicate the research gap or niche, yeah, in the article introduction, yeah, to show readers that the previous studies have some kind of limitation, shortcoming. So we cannot decide before we read the literature, before we read other people's study or articles, yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, so we have to find it out. According to Lim, authors need to convince readers that the research result will have an important contribution. Yeah, that is to fill in the gap. That is to add to the available information. So our result, our research will not add to the available information if we do not show the research gap. Yeah. So the novelty, the contribution, the news, the important information that we will show to readers from our study comes from the research gap. And that is to fill in, to complete the gap of information. So the rationale for this study, yeah, so I mentioned before that this is the result of my study. Yeah, I finished it 2 months ago, and I have submitted the article to a journal. Previous studies have investigated how authors address the research gap, yeah, in the introduction. But as far as I'm concerned, no studies, yeah, which compare, yeah, journals, published in international journals of a different ranking, yeah, different tier. Yeah. If we know that journals published in international articles published in international journals classified into 4 different levels. If the journals are indexed by Corpus, yeah, it is quartile 1, 2, 3, and 4. So how do authors from these 4 different level of journals address the research gap? So how do authors justify, uh, make the reasons, yeah, for their study? Yeah? And that is called research gap strategy. What strategy, yeah, this is the question, what research gap strategies are used by the are used in the in article introduction in language related field by international authors published in different tier journal, different ranking journals? And what linguistic features? So the second one is the linguistic features. What words or phrases they use to address the research gap strategies? So these 2 questions are addressed in this study. So this study used a mixed method approach, yeah, combining qualitative and quantitative as usual. This course study often use this approach. The quantitative analysis was focused on calculating the frequency and the syntactic structure and information feature types in the article introduction. And the corpus. Yeah, I took 5 articles only from this journal, Studies in Second Language Learning and Teaching. This is quartile 1 journal with Simago journal ranking score 1.3. It is quite high. Yeah. But you see, the second source of the article is from Journal of Asia TEFL, GAT, also quartile 1, but the SGR score is only 0.35. Yeah? So the same category, but the SGR score is very different. The third and fourth are from quartile 2, yeah, Journal of Language Education, and research in applied linguistic studies, yeah, quartile 2. with SGR score 0.18 and 0.2. Yeah. I also took 5 articles from each journal. Asian Journal of Applied Linguistics, quartile 3, and Journal of English Studies, also quartile 3. Studies in English Language Education, quartile 4, and Taiwan International ESP Journal, quartile 4. So this is the ranking, yeah, 4 different ranking of the journals, quartile 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the research gap strategy, this is according to Muller, there are 6. Contradictory evidence gap, this gap, yeah. Number 2, knowledge void gap or knowledge invalid gap, action knowledge conflict gap, methodology gap. So there is something wrong with the methodology of the previous studies. Evaluation void gap. So void means invalid. Yeah. Theory application void gap. So this is suggested by Muller, Bloch, and Kranz in 2014. But I didn't use these strategies. Yeah, this is quite complicated. I used the other one used by Afandi. Yeah, because this is more recent. Yeah, I took it from an article published in 2021. There are also 6 actually. Yeah, one is highlighting the absence. Yeah, no study on the topic yet so far. Yeah, as far as the author is concerned. Number 2 is insufficient. Number 3 is limitation. Number 4 is conflicting previous research finding. And number 5 is the term is not suggesting solution actually. This unsolved problem. Yeah, although there have been many studies before, but the problem still exists. These are the examples of no absent, yeah, absent, a complete absent. You know, the author stated that no studies have focused. So no study as far as the author is concerned. Yeah, there's one way of saying that a study on the topic is absent, no study. Number 2, insufficient, using the phrase like has not received its due attention. So very few studies on the topic, yeah, so far. And number 3 is there is only a paucity of studies. Yeah, this is a limitation. Yeah, previous studies have some kind of limitation. Yeah, or some kind of limitation. There are some studies on the topic, but they have some kind of limitation. And number 4 is contradicting or conflicting result of previous studies. Like, yeah, the result of previous studies are not always similar. So different results, yeah, from the previous studies, which means we cannot draw a conclusion yet. So no consistent in the finding of previous studies. So this strategy number 5. And this is strategy number 6, unsolved problems. Yeah, because there have been studies on the topic before, but the problem still exists. And therefore, we need to do it again. Yeah. This is another one following the suggestion from the previous studies. So previous studies suggested that to do this study, yeah, by setting contributes to existing knowledge, just to add, yeah, more information on the topic. The linguistic realization. The linguistic realization, there are, yeah, about 7 ways or 7 phrases or whatever words that can be used, yeah, to address the research gap strategy, as, yeah, nevertheless, nonetheless, yet, however, and so on. Yeah. So these are the common words, yeah, to use, yeah, in the research gap strategy. Yeah, we can use this for any strategy. Yeah, these are the common one. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is my finding. I found that insufficient, yeah, strategy number 2 and number 4, contradictory or contrasting evidence were used by the authors in a different quartile here. Yeah, but I just total this. Yeah, insufficient and contradicting evidence. Yeah, while suggesting solution is not found. Okay, so insufficient, limitation, and contracting evidence. Yeah, yeah. We'll have another table after this, yeah, to show the difference between the journals of a different quartile. Okay, but mostly, yeah, the authors in international journals use this four. Yeah, insufficient, limitation, contrasting evidence, and continuing previous studies. So these four are the rationale, the reasons for doing a particular research after reading the literature. Yeah. And this is, yeah, between the journals of different quartile. If we see here, yeah, contrasting evidence is used by authors published in quartile one journal. This is very significant, yeah, contrasting evidence. While other strategies, yeah, are equally used, yeah, by the authors in other quartiles. So this is very different. Yeah. So highly quality journals or highly quality authors choose to use contrasting evidence, yeah, to justify the research project. Yeah. And how to address this? Yeah, contrasting. Yeah, we have to criticize. We have to analyze the findings of previous studies. We have to find the contradicting result. We have to find the inconsistency of findings of the previous. We cannot just state that this study found this study found this. We have to be critical, yeah, if we want to target the quartile one journal, not just international journals. We have to be critical in doing the literature review. So this is the linguistic realization. Yeah, most of them use. Okay, yeah, we have to stop for a while, right? Yeah, it is azan now. Yeah, we have to wait until the azan's finished.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, can we go on? So I just want to show this is the second results actually about the use of linguistic realization or linguistic features. Yeah. Um, so these are the devices that are often used by the authors, like adversative conjunction, however, yeah, or despite, yeah, less examined, and also negation, does not, inconsistent results, yeah, will extend, and yeah. So this is not only used by one particular strategy. Yeah, it can be used by other strategy as well. Okay, now the conclusion. Sorry, the conclusion. Uh, the most frequent research gap strategy used by the international authors strategy 2, yeah, and 4. Yeah, this the insufficient stating or showing that previous studies are insufficient or have some kind of limitation, or previous studies results or found contrasting or conflicting results. Yeah, and especially this strategies, the strategy number 4, yeah, is used by authors published in quartile 1 or international journals. And they use an average of 3 also, yeah, 3, not just one. Yeah, the authors can use more than one strategy for one article introduction. On average, yeah, they use 3 strategies. Yeah, not just one. Uh, they may say that insufficient, limitation, and contrasting evidence in the introduction. Okay, now limitation, this study only included 40 articles, and future studies should include more articles, of course. Okay, The implication of this is for the teaching of academic writing, students, postgraduate students, and new faculty members when trying to write in articles for international journals, because it is a must in Indonesia in order to be promoted to a higher level of government officials, especially to be a professor. You have to write for an international journals, reputable international journals, and this is the way to go. That in the literature review, you have to be critical, you have to find the conflicting results, the inconsistency results of the previous studies. And that's the rationale, the reason, why you need to study. Okay, so this is the article that I have submitted, and this is the references, and that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.